Excuse me. You don't belong here. Victoria Harrison blocked the black man's path into the Ritz-Carlton ballroom, her diamonds catching light as 200 guests turned to watch. This is a private event. Service entrance is around back. The man smiled but didn't move. Around them, guests murmured and phones appeared, sensing drama. An elderly board member stepped forward, shaking his head at the man. "Son, you're embarrassing yourself. Security is coming." "I'm exactly where I belong," the man said calmly. Victoria's face flushed with anger as she grabbed a wine glass from a passing tray. "People like you contaminate everything you touch." The expensive wine flew through the air, drenching his suit while the crowd gasped and cameras captured every second. Some guests laughed. Others whispered their approval of Victoria's actions. The man wiped his face slowly, methodically, his smile unchanged. "Thank you. You just made my decision much easier." Victoria laughed sharply. "What decision could someone like you possibly make that matters?" $3 billion. He turned toward the exit, leaving confusion in his wake. Gone. The room fell silent. Nobody understood yet what those words meant, or who this man really was. But 48 hours earlier, everything had been different. 48 hours earlier, the Harrison Industries boardroom reeked of desperation. Old wood panels absorbed the scent of Cuban cigars and fear sweat as William Harrison's trembling hand signed papers that might save his empire or end it. 150 years, the old man whispered. His Mont Blanc pen leaked blue ink onto bankruptcy documents. 5 generations built this. 3 months to watch it die. The numbers screamed from every screen. 800 million in debt, stock down 60%, 15,000 employees checking job sites daily. The construction giant that built half of Manhattan's skyline was crumbling faster than its oldest buildings. William's daughter Victoria swept in, her heels clicking judgment on marble floors. "Have we heard from Marcus Wright?" That name, Marcus Wright, the only hope left. His email. William pushed his laptop forward. The message glowed. "I can help, but my terms are non-negotiable. MW." Victoria scoffed. "A tech billionaire playing with construction? What does he know about our world?" "He knows how to turn dying companies into gold," William's voice cracked. "Green tech industries, sustainable solutions, Eco-Future Corp, all saved, all transformed. All run by—" Victoria didn't finish. Her prejudice completed the sentence silently. Meanwhile, across the city, in a glass tower that scraped clouds, Marcus Wright studied Harrison Industries files. His office walls displayed no diplomas, just one photo, a young black man in work clothes, holding a small boy's hand outside Harrison Industries' gates. A pink slip visible in his pocket. 1975. Marcus said to his CFO, "My father, fired after 20 years. No reason given. We know the reason." The CFO shifted uncomfortably. "The contract's ready. $3 billion. It'll save them. Or teach them." Marcus closed the file. Patience is power. Back at Harrison Industries, employees huddled in the cafeteria's fluorescent glare. Sarah Thompson, 43, dark skin gleaming with nervous sweat, counted her remaining sick days, 20 years of perfect attendance, 1 month until pension. The layoff list had her name. "They'll cut us first," she whispered to another black colleague. "Always do." Shh, cameras. But Sarah was tired of silence. 20 years of watching white colleagues get promotions she'd earned. 20 years of separate lunch areas that just happened naturally. 20 years of being called articulate like it was surprising. The merger announcement came at 3 p.m. Marcus Wright's MW Tech would inject $3 billion. Save every job, modernize everything. William Harrison aged 10 years in relief. "We're saved." Victoria studied Marcus's photo on her phone. "Something's off. Why would he help us?" Does it matter? It would, because Marcus Wright wasn't just any billionaire. He was the boy who shined shoes outside their building, the teenager who watched his father die, broke and broken, the man who built an empire on the promise that no one would ever make him feel small again. The contract signing was scheduled for the charity gala, black tie, old money meeting new power. Victoria insisted on the venue. "Our people need to see we're still strong." Marcus smiled when he received the invitation. The Ritz-Carlton, where his mother had cleaned rooms for 30 years, where she'd been fired for taking home untouched food from events. "You're really going?" his CFO asked. "Oh, yes." Marcus picked up a small pin from his desk. The MW Tech logo, but older. Modified. It incorporated a tiny H that most wouldn't notice. Time to close a very old loop. The pieces were set. The Harrison empire teetered on salvation's edge. 15,000 jobs hung in balance. And in 48 hours, a glass of wine would determine everything. What started as a business deal was about to become justice served cold. The video hit 10 million views in 6 hours. Billionaire's wife assaults black CEO blazed across every screen in America. The wine toss, the smile, the $3 billion bombshell. Every angle captured by 200 phones, each video more damaging than the last. Harrison Industries' stock price fell like a stone thrown off a cliff. 70%. Gone. Trading halted, then resumed, then halted again. William Harrison's office phone rang non-stop, each ring a death knell. Banks calling loans, partners pulling contracts, board members resigning by text. "Sir," his assistant's voice shook. "Bloomberg wants a statement." "Tell them." William stared at screens showing his life's work evaporating. "Tell them nothing." But Victoria was already on CNN, making it worse. "I didn't know who he was." She faced cameras outside their brownstone. "It was a misunderstanding." The anchor's follow-up killed her. "So you would have acted differently if you'd known he was rich?" Click. Channel changed, but every station showed the same disaster. Their disaster. In her Tribeca apartment, Victoria's daughter Emma watched her phone explode with notifications. Columbia classmates sending the video, professors discussing it, her boyfriend texting, "Is that really your mom?" She called Victoria. 1 ring, 2. "Mom, what have you done?" "Emma, sweetheart, let me explain. You're trending with hashtags I can't even say out loud." "My friends are calling you." Emma's voice broke. "Grandpa built this company on integrity. You destroyed it for what? Pride? Hate? Emma." "I'm changing my last name." The line died. Victoria stared at her phone. Her daughter, her only child, gone. Meanwhile, Marcus Wright stayed silent. No tweets, no statements, no interviews. His silence was louder than any scream. NW Tech's stock rose 15%. "Sir, reporters are camping outside," his assistant reported. 60 requests for interviews." "Let them wait." Marcus watched the Harrison Industries ticker. Patience. At Harrison Industries, the exodus began. Emails with resignations flooded in, not from entry level, from VPs, directors, people with options, white executives who couldn't be associated with this. The irony wasn't lost on Sarah Thompson, still at her desk. The ones who'd benefited from discrimination were abandoning ship. The ones who'd suffered were staying. "Sarah!" William Harrison appeared in the common area. First time in 20 years he'd been there. "You're still here?" "Someone has to answer the phones." She didn't look up. "They're mostly death threats now." William flinched. "I didn't know. About Victoria. About any of it." "Yes, you did." Sarah's fingers kept typing. "You just didn't care." The truth hit harder than any wine toss. By hour 12, 3 more videos surfaced. Old ones. Victoria at other events. Comments caught on hot mics. A pattern spanning years. "Did you hear what she said about the serving staff? Look at this one from 2019. There's more. There's always more." The Harrison lawyers called emergency meetings. The board demanded Victoria's resignation from all positions. Sponsors pulled out of their foundation. The museum removed their name from a wing. "Mom." Victoria stood in William's study, mascara streaking. "Daddy, make it stop." "I can't." William looked older than his 70 years. "Marcus Wright was our only hope. You didn't just insult a man, you destroyed 15,000 futures. He set me up. He must have." "No." William's voice was stone. "You revealed yourself. He just made sure the world saw." Victoria's phone buzzed. Another text from Emma. "Don't contact me." The wine stain on Marcus's suit had been washed out. But the stain on Harrison Industries would never fade. In 18 hours, they'd gone from salvation to destruction. $3 billion vanished with 3 seconds of hate. And Marcus Wright still hadn't said a word. The silence was strategic. Every hour without his response, Harrison Industries bled more. Every minute of uncertainty, another partner fled. Who was Marcus Wright, really? They were about to find out. Marcus Wright disappeared from public view for 24 hours. Then he reappeared in a place no one expected. Harrison Industries, ground floor, pushing a janitor's cart. The gray uniform made him invisible. The cap hid his features. Nobody looked twice at another black man cleaning their mess. That was the point. "You!" Victoria's voice cracked like a whip. She'd returned despite lawyers' warnings, desperate to salvage something. "This floor should have been done an hour ago." Marcus kept his head down, mopping. "Sorry, ma'am." "Don't look at me when I speak to you." Her heels clicked closer. "And use proper cleaning solution. I can smell whatever that is." The smell was industrial bleach. Same brand her security used to sanitize areas after black employees ate lunch. Marcus had found the receipts. 40 gallons a month for a company claiming financial distress. "Yes, ma'am." He pushed the cart toward the executive elevator. "Not that one," Victoria's shriek echoed. "You people use the service elevator. How many times must we explain?" You people. There it was. Marcus rode the service elevator, his hidden camera recording everything. 3rd floor, a sign reading "All employees welcome" over a cafeteria. But inside, an invisible line. White employees left, black employees right. Nobody talked about it. Everyone knew. 4th floor, HR. Marcus cleaned around Linda Patterson's desk while she talked on the phone. "Yes, reject all applications with those zip codes. We can't verify education from those areas." She laughed. "Call it cultural fit." The zip codes were predominantly black neighborhoods. Marcus's childhood zip code was on the list. 5th floor, accounting. Marcus emptied trash while 2 executives discussed layoffs. "Sarah Thompson's on the list?" 20 years but no degree. Easy justification. "She trained half our team." "Doesn't matter. Her type always lands on their feet, welfare or whatever." Her type. Marcus's mother had been her type. Died at 58, no savings, no pension, no justice. 7th floor, the executive conference room. Marcus wasn't supposed to be there, but nobody stopped a janitor during a crisis. The emergency board meeting was in session. "We could blame everything on Victoria," one member suggested. "Isolated incident, one bad apple." Agreed. She acted alone. Marcus almost laughed. The personnel files he'd photographed showed systematic discrimination spanning decades. Victoria was just the face of it. Then he saw it, the memorial wall. Photos of company leaders since 1870. All white, all male until Victoria. And there, from 1960-1990, Chairman James Harrison, Victoria's grandfather. Below his photo, a plaque, maintaining excellence through selective standards. Marcus knew those standards. His father had been rejected by them, died knowing them. "Hey," a security guard appeared. "This floor is restricted." "Sorry, sir. Just finishing up." "You're that new guy? What's your name?" Marcus smiled. "Wright. Marcus Wright." The guard laughed. "Like the billionaire? Bet you wish, huh?" "Every day, sir." As Marcus left, he passed Victoria in the hallway. She was on the phone, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I don't care if qualified black candidates exist. I said I want people who fit our image. Yes, I know we're being watched. Use code words. Cultural alignment. Team harmony." They can't prove intent. She could now. Marcus's camera had caught every word. But something else happened. Something unexpected. Sarah Thompson appeared from the supply closet. She'd heard everything, too. Her eyes met Marcus's for a split second. Recognition? No. Just shared understanding. The look every black employee gave each other here. Solidarity in survival. "Mrs. Harrison," Sarah said professionally, "the reporters are asking about your diversity numbers. Tell them we're industry leaders, 14% minority employment, all in entry-level positions." Marcus had checked. Not one black executive in 150 years. The test was complete. The evidence overwhelming. Harrison Industries wasn't corrupted by prejudice. It was built on it. Tomorrow, Marcus would return as himself. But tonight, he'd gathered enough truth to bury an empire. Or rebuild it right. Marcus Wright spent 3 more days inside Harrison Industries. Each hour revealed new depths of systematic prejudice that made his stomach turn and his resolve harden. Day 2. 6 a.m. Employee entrance. Marcus joined the silent line of black and brown workers filing through the service door, while white employees strolled through the marble lobby. Security checked every minority's bag. Whites walked through unexamined. "Random screening," the guard mumbled when someone questioned it. Random. Like Sarah Thompson being randomly selected every single morning for 20 years. Marcus followed Sarah to her desk in accounting. She didn't know he was watching as she opened her computer to find another rejection email. Her 48th promotion denial in 10 years. The position went to Brad Collins, 26, white, 2 years experience to Sarah's 20. "Congratulations, Brad," Victoria's voice carried across the floor. "You're exactly what leadership looks like." Sarah's hands trembled as she deleted the email, then opened a hidden folder, screenshots, hundreds, every passed-over promotion, every suspicious firing, every budget cut that only affected certain people. She was building a case, had been for years. But who would listen? Marcus would. 10 a.m. Pay records room. Cleaning gave Marcus access everywhere. The payroll files told a story in numbers. Black employees earned 30 to 40% less for identical roles. Asian employees, 25% less. The only exceptions were the ones who acted right, never complained, never gathered in groups, never mentioned discrimination. Cost of living adjustments, the files called it, based on assumed household needs. Translation: they assumed minorities needed less money to live. Marcus photographed everything. His phone filled with evidence that would make any lawyer weep with joy or rage. 2 p.m. Executive dining room. Marcus served water while board members discussed the program. "It's working perfectly," Victoria announced. "Turnover among undesirables is up 40%. Undesirables? A newer member looked uncomfortable. "Those who don't align with company culture." Victoria smiled. "We make their lives difficult enough. They leave voluntarily. No lawsuits, no settlements, just natural attrition." The program. Written nowhere, spoken everywhere. Make minorities so miserable they quit. Then blame them for lacking commitment. Marcus's father had lasted 20 years before the program broke him. How many others? 7 p.m. After hours. The building emptied except for security and cleaning staff. All minorities. Marcus joined their break room conversation. "My son got into Harvard," one janitor said proudly. "Full scholarship." "That's amazing, George." George smiled, then it faded. "Can't afford the living expenses, though. Been here 18 years. Still making minimum." "Ask for a raise," someone suggested. Everyone laughed bitterly. They knew better. Marcus made a mental note. George Williams. Son. David Williams. Harvard class of 2029. If Marcus had his way. Day 3. The basement archives. Nobody went to the basement. That's where Harrison Industries kept the history they couldn't shred. Marcus found it all. Employment records from the 1960s. No colored applicants accepted. 1970s. Integration quota, maximum 5%, service positions only. 1980s. Diversity guidelines, maintain traditional standards. 1990s. Cultural fit priorities, preserve company heritage. 2000s. Team harmony initiatives, careful selection standards. 2010s. Alignment protocols, strategic demographic balance. The language evolved. The discrimination didn't. Then Marcus found the smoking gun, a folder marked VH Personal, Victoria Harrison's personal notes, handwritten, recent. The infection is spreading. They're getting too comfortable. Saw 2 of them laughing in the elevator, using the executive bathroom, eating in the main cafeteria, must remind them of their place. Grandfather knew, father was too soft. I won't make that mistake. Infection. Human beings described as disease. Marcus photographed every page. His hands shook with controlled rage. 4 p.m., IT department. Marcus cleaned while IT discussed the email filters. Resume scanning algorithms working great, the tech lead bragged. Filters out ethnic names with 90% accuracy. What about lawsuits? Can't prove an algorithm's racist. Just say it selects for qualification markers. They laughed. Marcus recorded. The algorithm had a name. Pure. Protocol for Uniform Recruitment Excellence. It rejected Jamal's and Lakeisha's, accepted John's and Jennifer's. Marcus's own resume would never have made it through. Good thing he didn't need it anymore. 8 p.m. Security office. Guards monitored cameras that only watched minority employees. Theft prevention, they called it. But the only theft Marcus saw was stolen opportunities, stolen dignity, stolen futures. That one's been in the bathroom too long, a guard pointed at a pregnant black woman. Make a note. The woman was having morning sickness. She'd be fired within a week for excessive breaks. Day 4, 5 a.m. The revelation. Marcus arrived early, before even security was fully staffed. In William Harrison's office, he found something that changed everything, a photo from 1975. The company picnic. There in the background, Marcus's father, Donald Wright, shaking hands with William Harrison himself. Both men smiling, genuine warmth. Below it, a memo in William's handwriting. Promote Donald Wright to management. Excellent worker, trustworthy, deserves better. The memo was stamped. Overruled. J. Harrison. James Harrison. Victoria's grandfather. William's father. William had tried to promote Marcus's father, been overruled by his own father. The system was bigger than any one person's hate. It was institutional, generational, but it could still be destroyed. Marcus left the building for the last time as a janitor. His phone contained 60 hours of footage, 300 photos, 57 recorded conversations, enough evidence to bury Harrison Industries in lawsuits for the next century. But Marcus didn't want to bury them. He wanted to transform them. Sarah Thompson would be his inside ally. She didn't know it yet, but her 20 years of silent documentation were about to matter. George Williams's son would go to Harvard with full support. Every denied promotion would be revisited. Every pay gap would be closed. The wine toss was just the beginning. The real revolution would come with spreadsheets and signatures. Who holds power when the powerless have proof? Marcus smiled. They were about to learn. Marcus Wright's laptop cast blue light across his face at 3:47 a.m. His lawyer, Patricia Chen, sat frozen in her chair, watching the video that would change everything. Victoria Harrison's face filled the screen. A company Christmas party 3 years ago. She was drunk, laughing with board members in a private room. Someone had been recording. You know what my grandfather used to say? Victoria swayed slightly, champagne sloshing. He said the secret to a successful company is knowing who belongs and who's just visiting. The visitors, they can clean our offices, serve our food, but they'll never sit in our chairs. Never. This company's blood is pure, and I'll keep it that way until I die." The men around her laughed, raised their glasses. "To purity?" Patricia's hands shook. "Marcus, this is... Wait." He clicked another file. This time, hidden camera footage from 2 days ago. Victoria in her office with the head of HR, Linda Patterson. They didn't know Marcus's janitor cart held a camera. "The Thompson woman is getting suspicious," Linda said. 20 years here. She's been keeping records." Victoria's response was ice. "Then manufacture a reason, theft, insubordination. I don't care. Just make her gone. That's what we did with that Wright man back in '75. My grandfather taught me well. You don't fire them for being black. You fire them for being late once, for a typo, for looking at you wrong, death by 1,000 cuts, legal, clean, effective." Marcus paused the video. His father's name from Victoria's mouth. She knew. She'd always known. "There's more," he told Patricia. The next file was audio. A board meeting from last week, recorded by Marcus through the vent while he cleaned the adjacent room. "The beauty of our system," Victoria's voice crackled through speakers, "is its invisibility. We never say race, we say cultural fit. We never write no blacks. We write lacks leadership presence. We never document discrimination. We document performance issues that don't exist until we need them." A male voice responded, "But the right deal. If he finds out what we've been doing, he won't. Rich or not, he's still just another one of them. Emotional, impulsive. That wine incident proved it. They always reveal themselves." Marcus's jaw clenched. She'd planned it, provoked him deliberately. Then came the document that made Patricia gasp. The pure algorithm's source code, stolen from the IT department. Marcus highlighted the critical section. "Look at the filtering parameters," he said. Names like Jamal, Lakeisha, Deshaun, Aisha were automatically scored -50 points. Addresses from black neighborhoods, -30. Attendance at historically black colleges, -40. A perfect SAT score couldn't overcome being born with the wrong name. "This is algorithmic apartheid," Patricia whispered. "It gets worse." Marcus opened Harrison Industries' founding charter from 1870, the original photographed from the basement archives. One paragraph was circled in red. "This enterprise shall maintain the superiority of Anglo-Saxon heritage in perpetuity, ensuring that leadership, ownership, and decision-making remain within the proper bloodlines." Proper bloodlines. In the founding document. The racism wasn't a bug in Harrison Industries. It was the operating system. Sarah Thompson's call interrupted them. "Mr. Wright, I couldn't sleep. I've been thinking, I have something else. Something I've never shown anyone." "What is it, Sarah?" "Video. From 2019. The holiday party. Victoria didn't know I was in the bathroom stall. She was talking to her daughter Emma about you specifically, about your father, she said. She said her family destroyed your father on purpose, as a lesson to others, that every generation of Harrisons needs to put down at least one uprising." Marcus closed his eyes. "Send it." The final video arrived minutes later. Victoria's voice echoed in the bathroom, casual and cruel. "Emma, darling, let me tell you about the Wright family. The father thought he deserved more. Grandfather crushed him. Completely. Had him blacklisted everywhere. The lesson? They can rise, but we decide how far. And that son of his, Marcus? I hear he's done well, but money doesn't change blood. When the time comes, we'll remind him where he belongs." Patricia stood up, pacing. "This is conspiracy. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Violation of civil rights. We're talking criminal charges, not just civil." Marcus compiled everything into one encrypted file. "Tomorrow, 10 a.m., the shareholder meeting. They'll destroy you if they can." Marcus smiled coldly. They already tried. They failed when they went after my father. Tomorrow I return the favor. The evidence was ready. The truth was armed. Justice had waited 48 years. It could wait 6 more hours. The Harrison Industries boardroom fell silent as Marcus Wright entered at exactly 10 a.m. 500 shareholders turned in their seats. Victoria Harrison stood at the podium, her face draining of color. Marcus walked slowly, deliberately. Each step echoed on marble. He wore the same Armani suit from the gala, cleaned and pressed. The MW Tech pin gleamed on his lapel. "You're not welcome here," Victoria's voice cracked. "I'm the largest individual shareholder as of this morning." Marcus held up his phone. "I bought another 15% at market open. Your crash made it affordable." Gasps rippled through the room. Board members checked their phones, confirming the impossible. "Security!" Victoria shrieked. "Already left." Marcus smiled. "I paid them triple to take the day off. Your employees, it seems, have very flexible loyalty when properly compensated." He reached the front, turned to face the room. 500 pairs of eyes watched, waiting. "My name is Marcus Wright. My father was Donald Wright. In 1975, Harrison Industries destroyed him for the crime of being black and ambitious. Today, I'm here to return the favor." "Lies!" Victoria stepped forward. "Really?" Marcus pulled out a remote. "Let's ask you." The screens around the room lit up. Victoria's face appeared crystal clear. The bathroom video Sarah had sent. Victoria's own voice filled the room. "The Wright family. The father thought he deserved more. Grandfather crushed him, completely, had him blacklisted everywhere." The shareholders shifted uncomfortably. Some started recording on their phones. That's edited," Victoria stammered. "Is this edited too?" Marcus clicked again. The Christmas party video played, Victoria raising her glass, toasting purity. The board members laughing about keeping them in their place. A shareholder stood up. "Mrs. Harrison, is that you?" "I was drunk. It was taken out of context." "What context justifies this?" Marcus played the next clip. The hidden camera footage from her office. Victoria explaining how to fire Sarah Thompson, how they'd done it to his father. Death by 1,000 cuts. Legal, clean, effective. Sarah Thompson herself stood up from the back row. 20 years? 20 years I've documented everything. Every passed-over promotion, every pay gap, every random screening. Mr. Wright has it all. The room erupted. Shareholders shouting questions. Board members trying to leave. Reporters who'd snuck in despite security started broadcasting live. William Harrison rose from his chair, aged beyond his years. "Victoria, what have you done?" "I protected our legacy," she spun to face her father. "Like grandfather taught me, like he taught you." "He was wrong. I tried to change things, but I was weak, too afraid of him to fight." William's voice broke. "But I won't be afraid anymore." He turned to the room. "I move for immediate termination of Victoria Harrison from all positions." "You can't!" Victoria screamed. "I'm your daughter! And you're a disgrace to everything we should have been." The vote was called. One by one, hands raised. Marcus didn't need to vote. 498 hands went up. Only Victoria and one ancient board member kept their hands down. "Motion carried," William announced. Victoria collapsed into a chair. "You don't understand. Without me, without our way, this company dies." Marcus stepped forward. "No, your way dies. The company transforms." He clicked the remote again. The pure algorithm's code appeared on screen. Gasps of horror as shareholders read the filtering parameters. Names automatically rejected, addresses blacklisted. "This is what Harrison Industries really is," Marcus announced. "Algorithmic discrimination hiding behind corporate speak." A young shareholder stood up. "I had no idea. My God, if this gets out." "It already has," Marcus smiled. "This presentation is being live-streamed to every major news outlet. The FBI's Financial Crimes Division has a copy. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has a copy. Every one of our 15,000 employees has a copy." Victoria lurched to her feet. "You've destroyed us! Destroyed everything!" "No." Marcus's voice was steel. "I've freed you from the disease you've been spreading for 150 years. She rushed at him, fists raised. Marcus didn't move. Sarah Thompson stepped between them, catching Victoria's wrists. "No more," Sarah said quietly. "No more violence. No more hate. It ends now." Victoria fell to her knees, sobbing, not from remorse, from the loss of power she'd wielded like a weapon her entire life. Marcus looked down at her, then at the room. "Harrison Industries has two choices. Transform completely under my leadership, or face bankruptcy from lawsuits that will last decades. I'm offering you redemption. One chance, one vote." "What are your terms?" William asked. Marcus smiled. It wasn't warm. It was justice delayed but not denied. "You're about to find out exactly what transformation looks like." Marcus Wright stood before 500 shareholders and laid out his vision. Each word calculated, each demand non-negotiable. First, complete leadership change. Every executive who participated in discrimination resigns today. No golden parachutes, no severance. You leave with what you deserve. Nothing. Board members shifted nervously. 3 immediately stood and walked out. More would follow. Second, Sarah Thompson becomes Chief Diversity Officer with full veto power over all hiring and promotions for 3 years. She's documented your crimes for 20 years. Now she'll document your rehabilitation. Sarah stood straighter than she had in decades. "I accept." Third, the Heritage Fund, $50 million used to silence victims, becomes the Restitution Fund. Every employee discriminated against gets compensated. Full back pay for every denied promotion, interest included. "That could cost hundreds of millions," an investor shouted. "Then you should have thought of that before stealing from your employees." Marcus pulled up a spreadsheet. "I've calculated the theft. $312 million in underpaid wages, $87 million in denied promotions, $53 million in wrongful terminations." The room went silent. The math was undeniable. Fourth, the pure algorithm and all discriminatory systems get destroyed today, publicly. We're bringing in external auditors to review every hiring decision from the last decade. Those wrongfully rejected get priority consideration. William Harrison stood. "The company can't survive this financial hit." "Yes, it can." Marcus clicked his remote. "MW Tech is investing $3 billion, as originally promised. But with conditions. This company rebuilds from its foundation. New mission statement, new values, new everything." He displayed the new organizational chart. Half the leadership positions were empty, waiting to be filled by those who'd been kept down. Fifth, mandatory diversity training isn't enough. Every remaining executive spends 1 month working entry-level positions, cleaning toilets, serving food, experiencing what you've put others through. "This is humiliation," Victoria cried from where she still knelt. "No, it's education." Marcus turned to her. "Which brings me to you. You're not just fired, you're banned. From this building. From any company that does business with us. Your trust fund, drawn from Harrison Industries' profits, is frozen pending investigation of your criminal liability." "You can't." "I can. The board already voted. Your father already agreed." Marcus looked at William. "Didn't you?" William nodded slowly. "I did. Victoria, you need help. Real help. The kind that forces you to see the humanity in everyone." Marcus continued. "Sixth, Harrison Industries' name changes. It will now be called Foundation Industries, because we're returning to the foundation of what business should be, building things that matter, building them with everyone, for everyone." An elderly shareholder raised his hand. "This is radical change, too fast. The market will panic." "The market already panicked when your hate went viral." Marcus pulled up stock prices. "But look at MW Tech. Up 20%. Other ethical companies all up. Investors are moving toward justice. You can follow or be left behind. What about our contracts? Another asked. Government work requires stability. Sarah Thompson spoke up. I've already been contacted by 3 federal agencies. They want to work with a transformed company. The old Harrison Industries was a liability. The new Foundation Industries is an opportunity. Marcus moved to his final slide. 7, and most important, every janitor, every secretary, every entry-level employee gets stock options, real ownership. You've built wealth on their backs while keeping them poor. That ends today. The CFO quickly calculated. That would dilute existing shares by 30%. Your shares were inflated by theft. This is correction, not dilution. Marcus turned to address the cameras broadcasting live. To the 15,000 employees watching, you're not just workers anymore. You're owners. To the millions who've been discriminated against by other companies, we're creating a model. Follow it or face your own reckoning. The vote was called. The transformation package, all or nothing. William Harrison spoke first. I've been a coward my entire life, watching injustice, doing nothing, no more. I vote yes. One by one, hands raised, some reluctantly, some enthusiastically. When the count finished, 412 yes, 88 no. Motion carries, William announced. Marcus Wright, the board officially offers you the position of CEO. Marcus shook his head. No, I'll be chairman. Sarah Thompson will be CEO. She's earned it through 20 years of suffering and documentation. I'll guide transformation. She'll run operations. Sarah's hands flew to her mouth. Mr. Wright, I don't have an MBA. I don't have... You have what matters. Integrity, experience, the respect of every employee who's been stepped on. They'll follow you because you're them, elevated. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. 20 years of invisible service, suddenly recognized. Victoria was escorted out by security she used to command. As she passed Marcus, she hissed, "This won't last. You can't change nature." "Watch me," Marcus replied. The meeting ended with applause from some, shocked silence from others. But change had won. Justice had prevailed. Outside, news vans surrounded the building. The headline was already spreading, "Historic transformation, racist dynasty falls, rises as beacon of change." But Marcus wasn't watching the news. He was watching Sarah Thompson stand tall at the podium, finally in the position she'd always deserved. His father would have been proud. 6 months later, Foundation Industries gleamed with more than new paint. Light poured through windows, no longer blocked by privilege. The executive elevator was gone. Everyone used the same one now. Sarah Thompson stood in what used to be Victoria's office, now transformed into an open workspace. The massive oak desk had been replaced with a round table, the door removed entirely. Transparency in action. "Ma'am, your 10 a.m. is here," her assistant announced. "It's Sarah, Kevin, just Sarah." She smiled at the young white man who'd been Victoria's secretary, kept on because he'd secretly helped minority employees file complaints. George Williams entered, the janitor whose son had gotten into Harvard. But George wore a suit now. Regional Facilities Manager, his first executive role after 18 years of cleaning. "Sarah, the numbers are incredible," he spread out reports. Employee satisfaction up 80%. Productivity up 40%. We're actually making more money than before. Turns out people work harder when they're treated like humans. Sarah laughed. Through the window, they watched the cafeteria below. No invisible lines anymore. Brad Collins, the white junior executive who'd gotten Sarah's promotion, sat with the black accounting team. He'd requested demotion after learning how he'd benefited from discrimination. Now he was earning his way up, honestly. "Brad's actually good at his job," George noted. "When he's not being handed things." Most of them are. They just never had to prove it before. Marcus Wright arrived for the weekly check-in. He spent most time at MW Tech but kept his promise to guide the transformation. The restitution fund? Sarah asked. 208 employees compensated so far. Average payment, $300,000. Some are retiring. Most are staying, finally able to afford their kids' colleges, their mortgages, their dreams. A knock at the door frame. Emma Harrison, Victoria's daughter, stood nervously. "Ms. Thompson? Mr. Wright? Could I speak with you?" Sarah gestured her in. Emma had publicly renounced her mother, changed her last name to her grandmother's maiden name, Emma Walsh. "I'm starting law school next month," Emma said. "Civil rights law. I want to fight what my family built. I know I can't undo the damage, but maybe I can prevent it elsewhere." Marcus studied her. "Your mother tried calling you yesterday." "I know. I didn't answer." Emma's voice steadied. "She's in therapy, court-ordered. Dad says she's starting to understand what she did, but I'm not ready. Maybe never." "Healing takes time," Sarah said gently. "For everyone." Emma pulled out an envelope. "This is why I came. My great-grandfather's journals. More of them. Hidden in our family safe. Evidence of discrimination at 12 other major companies. They were all connected. A network." Marcus and Sarah exchanged looks. The revolution was spreading. Meanwhile, across town, Victoria Harrison sat in a community center she'd once driven past with locked doors. Part of her sentence, 1,000 hours of community service in the neighborhoods she'd redlined. She served lunch to a homeless veteran, a black man, old enough to be her father. "Thank you, miss," he said politely. "You're welcome." The words felt foreign but less forced than last month. The supervisor, a black woman named Denise, watched carefully. "You're improving." "Am I?" Victoria's hands shook slightly. "I spent 50 years believing things that were just lies. Admitting that is the first step. You've got 900 hours left to figure out the next ones." Victoria nodded, returning to the serving line. Each meal she served chipped away at decades of taught hatred. Slowly, painfully, necessarily. Back at Foundation Industries, the closing bell rang. Employees checked their phones, watching their stock options rise. The janitor, who'd worked nights for 10 years now, had a portfolio worth $60,000. The secretary, who'd been paid half her worth, could retire 5 years early. William Harrison visited weekly, teaching business classes to entry-level employees. "I can't change the past," he'd say, "but I can invest in your futures." Sarah Thompson stood at the window watching the city lights. Marcus joined her. "Think it will last?" she asked. "Change is like trust, built daily, lost instantly. We keep building." "Your father would be proud." Marcus smiled, touching the new company pin on his lapel. The Foundation Industries logo incorporated an equal sign. Simple, powerful, true. He always said patience is power. He was right. It just took 48 years to prove it. Below them, the night cleaning crew arrived. They entered through the main entrance, heads high, wearing uniforms with their names embroidered. Everyone belonged here now. 3 years later, the annual Foundation Industries Gala filled the same Ritz-Carlton ballroom where everything had changed. But this room breathed differently now. Marcus Wright stood at the podium where Victoria Harrison once spilled wine and hate. The crowd before him was transformed. Every color, every background, every story America could tell. 3 years ago in this room, someone tried to humiliate me for the color of my skin. Marcus smiled. She gave me the greatest gift possible, the opportunity to prove that justice doesn't require violence, just patience, truth, and the courage to change. Applause filled the space. At table 12, Sarah Thompson sat as CEO, her daughter beside her, freshly graduated from Wharton, fully funded by the restitution fund. At table 3, William Harrison, 80 now but looking younger than he had in years, teaching, mentoring, repenting through action, and at the back, by choice not circumstance, Victoria Harrison, invited by Sarah herself. She wore a simple dress, her Foundation Industries employee badge visible, junior diversity coordinator, her choice to return, to learn, to earn respect rather than demand it. Marcus raised his glass of water, not wine. Tonight, we celebrate not destroying an empire, but transforming one. 15,000 employees now own shares worth an average of $200,000. We've inspired 43 other companies to audit their practices. The pure algorithm is gone, replaced by fair, finding all incredible resources. But we're not done. Injustice didn't die with one company's transformation. It lives in every workplace where people are judged by their names, their skin, their origins rather than their potential. Emma Walsh, now a civil rights lawyer, stood up. The Harrison Network trials begin next month. 12 more companies facing their reckonings. Marcus nodded. Change spreads like ripples. One stone can transform an ocean. He looked directly at the cameras streaming live. If you're watching this, working somewhere that treats you as less than human, know this. Document everything. Build your case. Wait for your moment. And when it comes, don't seek revenge. Seek revolution. The room stood. 500 people, once divided, now united. Justice served. Cold, patient, transformative. The beginning, not the end.